The 2011 Ford Escape Limited. Back when the SUVs still had a boxy look, when crossovers were starting to take over, and when Ford was squeezing every last bit of life out of this generation before completely overhauling it. You see these everywhere, whether as family haulers, cheap runarounds, or the forgotten second car that just won't die. But is it actually worth your time today? Let's take a deeper look. If you told someone this was a 2008 model with a new coat of paint, they'd probably believe you. And that's because, well, it basically is. Ford barely changed anything for this final run of the first gen Escape before moving to the more rounded crossover shape in 2013. But here's the thing, the boxy design actually works. It's practical, has great visibility, and still looks more like a proper SUV than today's jelly bean shaped crossovers. Up front, you get this classic Ford 3-bar grille, some pretty basic halogen headlights, and fog lights down below. Nothing fancy, but it's a clean look. Chrome accents on the limited trim try to make it feel a little more upscale, but it's still very much a budget SUV. Side profile is where you really see how function first this design is. High roofline, squared off fenders, and actual windows you can see out of, which is a nice change from modern SUVs that seem to think everyone wants to feel like they're driving a bunker. And check this out, fancy roof rails. It's like Ford actually expected people to use their SUVs for things other than commuting. Around the back, nothing crazy. Simple, vertical taillights, and one of the best features that's almost extinct today, a liftgate with a separate opening glass panel. If you just need to toss something in the back quickly, this is a super underrated feature. Inside, it's exactly what you'd expect from an early 2010s Ford. Hard plastics everywhere, some fake-looking silver trim, and a layout that feels more like a truck than a modern crossover. But for what it is, it's functional. The buttons are big, easy to use, and there's nothing in here that's overcomplicated or buried in a touchscreen menu. The gauge cluster, 2 big analog dials with a tiny digital display for basic trip info. No nonsense, no weird futuristic graphics, just numbers you can read without taking your eyes off the road. And honestly, that's kind of nice. The limited trim means you get leather seats and they're fine. Not the most comfortable, not the most durable, but they do the job. If you're looking at a used one today, expect some creasing, maybe some cracking, because Ford wasn't exactly using high-end materials back then, but at least they're heated, which is more than I can say for some modern SUVs that want to charge you a subscription for it. Alright, let's talk tech. The 2011 Escape comes with Ford's first-gen sync system, and in 2011, this was cutting edge. Bluetooth connectivity, voice commands, and an optional navigation system. But by today's standards, it's painfully slow, and the voice recognition will get things wrong at least 50% of the time. But you know what? At least it works without requiring constant updates or a Wi-Fi connection. And here's where this thing wins over modern SUVs. Real buttons and knobs. You want to change the fan speed? Turn a dial. Adjust the heated seats? Push a button. No touchscreens, no scrolling through menus, just press, turn, and done. And that's something I really appreciate. Now, under the hood, you get 2 options, a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder making 171 horsepower, or the 3-liter Duratec V6, which bumps it up to 240 horsepower and 223 pound-feet of torque. If you're looking for the more fun option, the V6 is the way to go. It's not fast by today's standards, but it's quick enough to keep up with traffic and actually makes this thing feel decent on the highway. The 4-cylinder, it'll get the job done, but you're going to want to plan your merges carefully. Now, ride quality, it's firm. Not unbearable, but definitely more truck-like than a modern Escape. The steering is light and vague, so if you like feeling connected to the road, this probably isn't for you. Fuel economy isn't great. The 4-cylinder gets 20 city, 26 highway, which is acceptable. The V6 expects 17 city and 23 highway. Not awful, but not exactly fuel efficient either. Reliability is mostly solid. The Duratec V6 is a proven engine if you keep up with oil changes, but the 6-speed automatic transmission, not so much. Some of these had issues with rough shifting and early wear, so if you're looking at a used one, make sure it's been maintained. So is the 2011 Ford Escape Limited still worth it today? Well, if you want modern tech, premium materials, and fuel efficiency, this isn't it. But if you want a no-nonsense practical SUV with good visibility, decent cargo space, and old-school simplicity, it's honestly still a solid choice. In a market where new crossovers are filled with software locks and overcomplicated touchscreens, there's something refreshing about a vehicle that just does its job. And maybe that's what makes it special.